Hawaii official reportedly delayed releasing water critical to battling the devastating wildfires.
President Joe Biden and the First Lady set to be in Maui today to visit the devastation from wildfires there firsthand.
As the number of fatalities grow in Hawaii, so do the questions, like how something like this could happen in the first place.
As the fires rage on the Hawaiian island of Maui, this is what one of the locals have to say.
Okay, I gotta tell you guys, I am so frustrated with investors.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Feeling Studio. I changed the handle, basically. We are going to be reacting to Jake Tran's video and also the recent developments of the Maui fire and also the land grabs that are persistently happening throughout the United States of America, which is destroying the American dream and housing market by BlackRock and rich, wealthy people. Let's get into it today.
And realtors calling the families who lost their home, offering to buy their land. How dare you do that to our community right now? This is some pilau heva shit happening right now. I am so frustrated hearing since yesterday that multiple families that I know personally were reached out and offered money from investors and realtors. Shame on you.
There's a lot of real estate speculation happening right now that is really frustrating, and I just want to remind all you real estate investors around the world, like, Lahaina is not for sale. Please don't reach out to these families and take advantage of them during the most devastating time of our lives.
The fire started on August 8, 2023, and it's been one of the worst disasters to hit the island in modern history. At least 114 people are dead, with another 850 still missing.
Don't care. That's what they're saying. Oh yeah, like, don't prey on these people. Lady, I don't think you understand. This is called disaster capitalism. You have these vulture capitalists and fucking corporatists on Wall Street. They love disasters because they know it's a fire sale, and they're going to make triple fold on their investments and even plunge more people into poverty and homelessness through gentrification. You see, y'all don't get the picture. Corporations don't care about you. The one thing that's really agitated me the most about living in the United States of America is the fact that most people simp for rich people. Most people think rich people are like God.
But this story is far more than just a natural disaster gone wrong. See, Hawaii has always been a contentious US state. Stolen from the native Hawaiians, Hawaii has always had a lot of tension between the natives and the Americans. And this story is no different. See, Maui is home to many powerful names. Jeff Bezos owns a $78 million home on Maui, Larry Ellison of Oracle owns 98% of the island of Lanai, Oprah owns land on Maui near the fires, and many, many more. And yet, you've barely heard a peep out of any of these people. The story of the Hawaii fires is a story of cover-ups, corporate greed, terrible mismanagement, vultures trying to swoop in and buy up all this burnt-up real estate for pennies on the dollar, and maybe even arson. Stay dangerous, and this is why they want Hawaii to burn.
It's like they're moral orbiters. It's like, I don't give a shit. Literally, I remember I flicked off this rich person, and he was like, oh wow. Wow, he doesn't fucking think I'm God. Literally, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. They are coming after the American dream. They are coming after your children. They are coming after your house. They're coming after your livelihood. They are coming after your happiness. They want you to be in an apartment. They want you to rent. They want you to be in economic destitute.
You want to know what's harder than buying a holiday home in Hawaii? Keeping track of all the recurring subscriptions you pay for, which is why I use today's sponsor, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is an all-in-one finance platform that helps you save more and spend less. This personal finance app allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, build a custom budget, and grow your savings.
And here's Jake Tran once again taking corporate money while supposedly basically shelling against corporate and rich people and wealthy interests. There's been a whole controversy about him. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. I'm not making a video about it. Anyways, back to the video. Just wanted to shout that out to y'all.
On the afternoon of August 8, 2023, a fire started near the town of Lahaina in Maui. Fueled by dry grass and powerful gusts of winds caused by Hurricane Dora, and the fire quickly spread. Within less than 15 minutes, it had reached the town, leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. People ran for their lives. Some even dove into the ocean to escape the flames. Thousands of houses were burned to the ground, and more than 100 people died. For weeks before the fire started, the island had been very hot and dry. With grass, soil, and trees drying up, it was the perfect conditions for a fire. Everyone had been told to be extra careful and to avoid anything that could start a fire. So if the whole island was on alert, then the number one question on everyone's mind is who started it? Who was responsible for one of the most devastating wildfires in US history? According to official sources, no cause has been found yet. But that's not really true, because one company seems to be trying to play down how big of a role they played in the fires.
August 7th at 10:47 p.m., a day earlier, you hear a witness describe a flash that might be a tree falling on a power line.
It's windy, and then there's a flash, and I think that's when a tree's falling on a power line. The power goes out.
One expert saying those videos taken in upcountry Maui show the flames spreading and may be the first evidence of downed power lines igniting a fire.
Oh, this is live right across the street from my house. Freaking power line just went down. I hear a pop coming from across the street. As soon as I hear the pop, all I heard is like electrical, like just going on the ground there. Look, there's the power line right there. See them right there, that's the power line that started from up the road there, and all of that is still burning.
In Hawaii, less than 1% of fires start due to natural causes. Yes, that is right, 99% of fires in Hawaii are caused by humans, and the Maui fires are no different. So who did it? One suspect is Hawaiian Electric, the biggest utility company in Maui. As far back as 2019, Hawaiian Electric had known about the danger posed by its power.
And who do you think Hawaiian Electric is owned by? Do you think it's some public utility that's like, oh yeah, it's funded by the taxpayers, it's funded by, like France and certain countries in Europe, well, most countries in the world, really, that's actually has a sense on their head and actually has a brain, basically knows to basically establish consumer-owned power and electricity, water, and power. No. This company is owned by private speculators, and I wouldn't be surprised that this electric power company was literally owned by the real estate people and these actual people themselves that are actually now calling up trying to purchase people's homes, literally pennies on the dollar, and make even more people homeless on the island.
Power lines falling or emitting sparks during the dry, windy season. Old power lines or power lines near trees are one of the biggest risks during big storms. One spark or even just a falling branch can set fire to dry grass in seconds. To keep that from happening, Hawaiian Electric would need to trim all the trees near the power lines across the islands. They would also have to reinforce their power lines and poles to resist strong winds. The company estimated that this kind of overhaul of its power lines would cost at least $190 million, money that would probably have to come out of its own pockets. And if there's anything that big business hates, it's spending their hard-earned money on useless stuff like safety. Safety isn't gonna improve revenue, it's not gonna boost their profit margins, so if the people of Maui wanted to make these improvements so badly, the money would have to come out of them, which meant Hawaiian Electric would have to raise its electricity rates. It would take Hawaiian Electric 3 years to commit to making these improvements.
Wow, don't you look at that. Once again, highlighting how big business only cares about profits over people, cares about profits over safety. Guys, let me tell you something. The people of fucking Lahaina, you motherfuckers in Hawaii, you better fucking get your gun. You better fucking start raising some fucking hell and tyranny to these rich cocksuckers and these politicians, okay? You better start going into fucking state houses and shit. I'm not kidding.
Perfect.
Let me tell you something. I spoke with a friend from Haiti. You don't see this shit in fucking, like, you only see this kind of shit in Haiti. You only see this kind of shit in like places where, like Idi Amin and shit were taking role in certain part, I forgot which country, but certain part of Africa. You don't see shit like this, like in Europe. Guys, we are such a banana republic. The United States is such a banana republic. It is such a corrupt country, this country. Everything is fueled by the dollar. Everything. Like literally, including the citizens, including the people. Everybody's just a number. That's why we even consider this a country. I would literally consider America a corporation at this point. And then they want to raise electricity bills. It's like, excuse me, yeah, our electricity bills have been raised by somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 to 600% over the last 2 years because of all the money printing that Joe Biden has done in his administration, giving $28 billion to Ukraine. When Hawaiians get a lousy fucking $700, which you'll see in this next slide, after I pause in the next slide.
In 2022, it finally asked state regulators to allow it to raise rates to fund the $190 million it needed. That request is still pending to this day, while Maui is burning to the ground. You see, Hawaiian Electric knew just how big of a risk they were taking by putting off the maintenance they knew they needed. But that is not even where the bad choices end. One of the company's main safety features is a public power shutoff plan that lets them turn off all the electricity during a severe storm. That way, if power lines did fall, there would be no way it would cause a fire. But during this storm, they never shut off the electricity. According to the company, they didn't want to turn off the power because electricity was needed to pump water to fire trucks. But you wouldn't even need water in fire trucks if there were no fires in the first place. Instead, the real reason they didn't want to turn off the power was because they were afraid of public backlash. They didn't want the bad publicity or to lose money. After all, getting your electricity voluntarily turned off in the middle of a storm isn't gonna feel very good. You're gonna be pissed off at that utility company. And so on August 7th and 8th, Hawaiian Electric power lines caused fires in 2 different areas near Lahaina.
August 7th at 10:47 p.m., a day earlier, you hear a witness describe a flash that might be a tree falling on a power line.
It's windy, and then there's a flash, and I think that's when a tree's falling on a power line. The power goes out.
One expert saying those videos taken in upcountry Maui show the flames spreading and maybe the first evidence of downed power lines igniting a fire.
Oh, this is live right across the street from my house. Freaking power line just went down. I hear a pop coming from across the street. As soon as I hear the pop, all I heard is like electrical, like just going on the ground there. Look, there's the power line right there. See them right there. That's the power line that started from up the road there. And all of that is still burning. From there, to me, it simulated a fuse, like somebody lit a fuse for a firework.
Experts say these 2 fires likely spread, causing the massive wildfire that destroyed the entire town. And within days of these 2 videos being shared, Hawaiian Electric shares lost half of their value, and dozens of Maui residents are now filing a class action lawsuit against them for being responsible for the fire. The company had tried cutting corners when it came to safety, and now it looks like they're going to be paying a whole lot more than $190 million anyways. And you would think that
Listen, they are not going to be paying more than $190 million. They are not. These people will get a slap on the wrist, trust me. Trust me, the state will come in, they'll bail out that company, and it'll be rich buddy, rich and wealthy buddy interest and shit. That's what it's going to be. I mean, listen to me. I'm going to show you guys in this slide. Insurance companies, literally, your home insurance is fucking useless now. The Biden administration is literally allowing home insurance policies. You know, it's like, oh, I pay month to month. Oh, in case if a fire ever happens. Oh, so the asset is protected. Nope, you're not protected. You lose your house. You're homeless. You're in a multitude of debt for the rest of your miserable American life.
So then I had another friend reach out who's in Maui and was telling me that the victims are being told by their insurance companies that their properties that burned were actually violating city code and will not be rebuilt. So an act of war, an act of nature, whatever it may be that took place in this area, is now violating city code, and their insurance company is deciding not to cover it. Interesting that they were able to obtain an insurance policy to begin with if it was not within the city code. So then what is the point of insurance? If insurance is there to cover you in case an accident or something occurs, then what would be the point of having it if it doesn't cover you if that accident or incident occurs? These are questions we have to ask about this whole scenario and the entire thing in which is happening.
Listen to me carefully. Is being given a special package, and I don't want you to open it. Do not open it. Cameras are on you, so do not open until I tell you. All right, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3. You get a call. 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 You get a call.
Even home insurance is a scam. Even car insurance is a scam. Literally. Everything you've been taught about this country, like, oh, it's capitalism, it's a good contract. No, it fucking ain't. This system is a scam. We're only literally the 0.1% benefit out of it. As you just saw in those slides right there, of people losing their houses and their car, and literally having to fucking pay debt for shit that's literally non-existent, in which you're supposed to pay insurance for. Insurance is supposed to insure you. And again, it just proves once again how this country's a scam.
Massive company like this trying to cover up its responsibility for a wildfire would be the worst scandal to come out of all this. But you would be wrong, because it gets a whole lot worse. One of the scariest things about the Hawaii wildfire is just how quickly it spread, by 1 mile every minute. Once the fire reaches towns like Lahaina, it moves so quickly that there was little to no chance anyone could outrun it, which is why so many people ended up in the ocean to try to escape it.
Meanwhile, harrowing footage has emerged of a group of people forced to escape into the sea as the fires erupted all around them on Tuesday night.
With the fire spreading so quickly, every single second counts. Knowing about the fire a minute earlier could save dozens of lives. Unfortunately, with the power lines either failing or setting on fire, Hawaii's emergency text alert system failed. By the time the text came through telling people to evacuate, it was already too late. The fire had reached the town. If only there had been some way to warn Maui and Lahaina residents of the approaching blaze. Some sort of warning system that didn't rely on cell service. Except, there is an independent warning system that could have gotten people out of their homes earlier. It was just never used. As an island state, Hawaii has more than 400 hazard sirens all across the islands, the largest network in the world. According to the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, the sirens are there to warn people of all sorts of disasters like tsunamis, wildfires, flooding, and terrorist attacks. 80 of these sirens are located on Maui, and many of them are in or around Lahaina. But when it came time to warn people about the fires, the alarms never went off. Instead, the only warning people got of impending doom was a massive cloud of black smoke over the town. But by then, it was already too late for many people. People were furious. Weren't the sirens there for a reason? Why didn't they use them if they knew there was a fire coming? What was the point of putting up all these sirens if you were never going to use them? It turns out the sirens never being used is all thanks to one guy, Maui Emergency Management Administrator Herman Andaya. According to him, he never approved the sirens being used because he believed that people would think it was a tsunami warning and that they would head to the mountains, which would have been directly into the fire. Which sounds reasonable. You have been warning Maui residents of powerful winds and wildfires for weeks, but when the sirens go off, they're definitely gonna only think that it's for a tsunami and head directly towards the black smoke. And even if people thought it was a tsunami warning at first, all it would take was them walking outside and seeing all the black smoke in the sky. That was the official reason the sirens never went off. But over the next few days, a whole lot of other excuses came out as well. Some of the sirens were broken and wouldn't work, or some of the sirens had never been activated and wouldn't work at all, which made the entire story very hard to believe. If they really didn't want people to run towards the fire, towards the mountains, why would they be making all these other excuses as well? Something did not feel right. But the icing on the cake was that days after the fire started, the stand-up guy Herman Andaya, who was in charge of turning the sirens on, decided to resign from his position due to health reasons.
Oh, what a coincidence. Hee hee, what a coincidence. Another thing I would like to highlight is Maui Police Chief pleads for patience and recalls the pain of victims' IDs after a deadly Las Vegas mass shooting. Do you want to know something quite ironic, as you can see right here? This man is literally the fucking police chief of Maui. This man was literally the police chief during the Las Vegas shooting for when Las Vegas mass shooting happened. Which, if you don't know, 56 people, I think it was 56, 50-something people were killed. 50 people were killed. And guess what? The person who shot those people from a hotel high-rise, guess what? Was an IRS tax agent. He was one of those people that were part of the 70,000 people armed IRS tax agents seizing your property and your belongings. Let me show you here. You see, Las Vegas gunman was former IRS agent who pre-planned extensively for the attack. Back in October 3rd, 2017. And you don't think this is an inside job. You don't think any of this shit is an inside job. Look at this. There's people I'm going to tell you all right now. There's people getting arrested for going back to their property to check on their property. There's people getting arrested literally for fighting back against tyranny. These people can literally shoot and kill you and get away with it. That is our government today.
So an electric company starts a massive fire. The people in charge never used a warning system created specifically for a situation like that. But if you thought that was the end, you were once again sadly mistaken. Because as Maui burned to the ground, it didn't take long for big businesses and investors to see a golden opportunity. The Maui fires had not even been 100% contained when the first solicitations came through.
Some of the things that's already been happening is realtors are calling families who lost everything, offering them to buy their property and their home for pennies on the dollar. So it's pretty offensive to us that people won't even give us the time to grieve properly. And people's mental health has been diminished in all of this. They've lost everything. People have lost family members. And for them to have that disrespect to come in and already try and buy things up is out of control.
With thousands of homes being burnt down, it seemed like an easy deal. It was going to take months, even years for these homes to be rebuilt. In the meantime, thousands of people had just lost everything. Their homes, their cars, all their possessions. So why not go in and offer them a few $100,000 for land that you know is worth millions? In a situation like this, it's easy to see why people would have no choice but to sell. They have no home, they have no clothes or food. They desperately needed the money. For the people of Maui, the fires were a devastating disaster, but for investors and real estate developers, it was the perfect opportunity to make millions. All they would have to do is buy the land from homeless Hawaiians, rebuild luxury homes and hotels on that land, and then sell it to billionaires and millionaires looking for a holiday home or a beach house. And they've gone to extremes to get people to sell.
And that's literally the tip of the iceberg of it, literally. The fact that these people can't even grieve. The fact you've got businesses. Even with business insurance, it just comes to show you business insurance. That's another thing that's a scam. You're not even protected. Can I tell you how you're protected? If you're a corporation. Can I tell you how you're protected? If you lobby the government and throw and pay poverty wages to people. Can I tell you how you're protected? If you lobby and bribe government regulators and officials and you invite them to your little rich dinner parties and your cocktail parties. That's how you're protected. This is the new America. And I'm going to also say this right now. This has been happening to Black and Hispanic people and voices for centuries, for fucking decades in this country. We still never got our 40 acres of land when we got the Emancipation Proclamation. The reason why us people of color like myself are just like, we knew this would happen, we know how it is. The reason why we're just, because we see Caucasian people, we see you guys, stressing about this and stuff. The reason why we're not in the same boat when it comes to exaggeration, and also I would have to say when it comes to assistance, I don't agree with that personally, but most people of color, you have to understand, you guys technically denied us for decades agency. You guys denied what was happening to us. The Native Americans, their land getting stolen, and then giving them useless fucking land where they can't even make money. They have no resources on that land, and then selling it off to rich white investors and pasty old speculators and shit from Wall Street. You gotta understand, the reason why us people of color are just okay, what? So what? It's because this has been happening to us for decades and centuries, literally. This is no longer a race thing. They're finally coming after y'all because they see how much profit that they can make through disaster capitalism. That's the truth.
Quote, there are still bodies being pulled out of water outside of Maui, and you suddenly get a call or a message on Facebook saying we want to buy your property, end quotes. It's gotten so bad that the governor of Hawaii is even considering suspending the housing market to stop people from selling their land out of desperation. So what is the—
Oh, so they can fix homelessness in the housing market. Okay.
The lesson from this is that when disaster strikes, you gotta be right there, checkbook in hand, waiting to submit an offer on some prime oceanfront real estates. And you want to know what else is eerily suspicious? How in the span of around 3 decades, more than 50 people connected to Bill and Hillary Clinton have died. 50 people! And you want to know what's even more suspicious? Is that all 50 of these people didn't die from natural causes. Oh no, each of these 50 people all died in one of the 3 ways: suicide, plane crash, or robbery gone wrong. Just those 3. And these are not just random people. No, these are people who all had the power to ruin the public image of the Clintons. These are people that could have linked the Clintons to scandals. And now magically, all of them died. And what's even crazier is that most of these deaths magically came to an end after Clinton left the White House. And we expose it all in our new private documentary, The Clinton Kill List, that you can watch right now by clicking the join button below. This one is very damning and you are not going to want to miss it.
Just to wrap up this video now, it's just, you guys have to understand something. The new American dream is not buying a house here. The new American dream is not buying a house, because literally, like, I'm also going to be making a separate video in regards to me and my mother's housing struggles, because it's a true reality. You can literally have a good credit score, you can literally have the capital, and still, literally, you can't even get a house for what, $100,000, even if it's within the price range. FHA, even if it is qualifiably through FHA for the amount of bureaucracy within the housing market in the United States of America. But if you want to see more videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe this video. I would definitely love to gain more subscribers and watch hours. And also, it's just, I will be going and making conspiracy videos, which I will be launching a YouTube membership really soon. So I will be launching conspiracy videos like soon, quite soon. And I am going to be posting 2 videos a day, 3 days out of the week, basically. So, you know, just to basically get those watch hours up. But also, further go in depth and talk about just, honestly, the reality that we're facing as Americans right now. Because it's pretty obvious. Us Americans are under attack. And we are under attack by our own government. Our own government, and also the corporations that be, are literally attacking us from every single point right now. Whether it comes in regards for food, basically, which I will be making another video, how our food is poisoned, how also housing, you know, homelessness is a manufactured thing. They could literally, I mean, you just saw it in that video, literally, they suspended the housing market, so they could literally fucking give us housing. They could. They just don't want to because it's not profitable for their donors. But again, thank you so much for tuning in, being a loyal subscriber, and I'll see you on the next one.